Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. My name is Adam Parkhouse. I am the Director of Stakeholder Services for NDOT's Northwest District. If you're here expecting to be in present, if you're expecting to be here for a public hearing about an intersection improvement project at 2 and 500, congratulations, you're in the right place. I want to take a moment just to introduce a few people around the room, and then we're actually going to play a recorded presentation for you. We also have an audience that's joining us via streaming right now via Microsoft Teams. So we'll play the video, and then afterward we'll have a public comment section. And the way we're going to do that is just kind of first come, first serve. When we get around, I'll ask if somebody would like to make a public comment. We'll also walk through some additional ways that you can do that, even if you don't speak here tonight, or if you do speak here tonight, you leave here and forgot something, there's going to be some ways for you to do that as well. So again, I'm Adam Parkhouse with NDOT. Also with NDOT, we have Cassie Beja. She's back there. She's our Public Relations Director. And Mike Grilowitz is our Project Manager for this job. And then with our friends at Lawson Fisher, our consultant for this project, we have Dimitri Adams. You'll hear his voice on the recording here in a moment. Dan Delgado is in the back. You will not hear his voice in the recording. And Josh Netherton from Metric Environmental is over there in the corner, and you'll hear from him as well. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get the video started. Again, thank you for being here tonight. We really appreciate you taking valuable time out of your schedules to come and learn about this project. Afterward, a lot of you have already interacted with the project team beforehand. Afterward, we'll be here for as long as you need us to. So if you have additional questions and whatnot, we'll be here until they kick us out or whatever. So we'll play this recording. I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 minutes, and then I'll come back and do public comment. Good evening, and welcome to the public hearing for proposed intersection improvement project at State Road 2 and County Road 500 West in LaPorte County. My name is Adam Parkhouse, Director of Stakeholder Services for NDOT's Northwest District. Thank you for taking valuable time out of your schedules to be with us here tonight. Public input is a critical and necessary component of projects like this one. After this presentation, in-person attendees will have an opportunity to make a verbal public comment. Information will also be shared about additional ways to register a public comment that will receive a response and be included in the final environmental document. With that, I will now hand it off to Josh Netherton with Metric Environmental.
Public involvement has been ongoing throughout the project planning and design process. Initially, nearby property owners were informed about the project through the Notice of Entry letter sent in July 2023, outlining the upcoming project survey activities. Today's public hearing is a part of our continued effort to engage the community and gather valuable input on the project's impacts and proposed alternatives. Your feedback is crucial in guiding final decisions in project planning. Currently, final project decisions are expected in late summer 2025. The environmental document for this project has been prepared in compliance with the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA. NEPA requires NDOT to thoroughly evaluate potential environmental and community impacts of proposed projects. This document helps to describe the purpose and need of the project, evaluate alternatives considered, and help select the best alternative that meets the project purpose and need while minimizing impacts. Topics evaluated in the NEPA process include concerns such as impacts this project might have on the community and environmental resources, avoidance of anticipated impacts, and minimization of unavoidable impacts, and is any mitigation required for unavoidable impacts. The NEPA document for this project, classified as a Level 2 categorical exclusion, has been released for public involvement and is currently available for public review. We encourage you to provide comments, as your input is crucial to the final development and success of the project. As discussed in the last slide, the NEPA process establishes the purpose and need for the project, helps develop possible alternatives, including a no-build alternative as a baseline comparison, assist in evaluating and screening alternatives, and helps identifying the preferred alternative. An essential component of the environmental process includes soliciting public comment on the NEPA document and the preliminary design plan. Once public comments are received, all comments are addressed and considered as a critical component of the decision-making process. Upon completion of public involvement, the environmental document will be finalized and approved. During the NEPA process, the project team carefully assessed a variety of environmental resources that might be affected by the project. These include potential impacts to property right-of-way, wetlands and waterways, protected species, farmland, cultural resources like historic sites, recreational resources like parks and trails, and other impact categories shown on this slide. Through the process, these resources have been thoroughly examined, and all practicable and feasible measures will be implemented to avoid, minimize, or offset impacts. During the environmental investigation, it was determined that anticipated impacts include acquisition of permanent, temporary, and reacquired right-of-way, utility impacts, terrestrial habitat impacts, and impacts to adjacent farmland. Proposed right-of-way will be discussed by LFA later in this presentation. While one wetland is present near the western project limits, this wetland will be avoided and will not be disturbed by the project activities. Therefore, no impacts to water resources are anticipated. As discussed in a previous slide, a conversion of farmland is anticipated. Approximately 2.22 acres of farmland will be converted to transportation use by the project. Due to these impacts, coordination with the Natural Resources Conservation Service, or the NRCS, occurred on May 7, 2025. This coordination with the NRCS resulted in a determination of no significant loss of prime farmland. Shown on this slide is farmland in the southeast project area that's anticipated to be partially impacted by construction. Approximately 2.22 acres of permanent terrestrial habitat impacts are anticipated as a result of the project, including approximately 0.0014 acre of tree clearing. A construction stormwater general permit, formerly a Rule 5 permit, will be required due to the overall project disturbance exceeding 1 acre, which includes anticipated terrestrial habitat impacts. All efforts to avoid and minimize terrestrial habitat impacts have been considered during the design process. Now, I'll pass the presentation back to Dimitri to discuss right-of-way acquisition, alternatives considered, and the project schedule.
Thank you, Josh. My name is Dimitri Adams. I work for Lawson Fisher Associates, the consulting firm hired by the state to perform design services on this project. I am the project manager, and I will describe the real estate process and the overall design. The project does involve a proposal to acquire right-of-way. The preferred alternative is a larger footprint than the existing condition. So some property acquisition is proposed. What you see here is the cover of Federal Highway Administration real estate acquisition document. This document describes the real estate process, and a copy is available here today if anybody desires to read it. The real estate acquisition process was developed with accordance with the Uniform Act of 1970 and requires an offer for just compensation. The typical process involves two activities: appraising and negotiation for buying. For this preferred alternative, the proposed land amounts are 2.02 acres of permanent right-of-way and 0.119 acres of temporary right-of-way across 10 parcels. Permanent right-of-way involves the state purchasing and taking ownership of the land. Temporary right-of-way involves the state paying a fee to use the land for the purpose of the construction, but the ownership remains with the landowner during and after construction. And now, I will speak with the overall design. It was recognized the intersection on Say Road 2 at County Road 500 West was no longer operating well, as traffic volume has increased over the years. The first step is to work through various alternatives to determine the best course of action. I will briefly step through the main alternatives and then focus on the current preferred alternative. Initially, 10 alternatives were discussed, with 8 of them being dismissed fairly quickly after comparing them to the existing conditions. The no-build alternative. This is to establish a baseline for comparison. This is on every project is it is more of a formality and not desired. A traffic signal with added left and right turn lanes on State Road 2. This is likely what would have been constructed. Part of the signal evaluation involves a review of multiple technical warrants. While this location passed the warrants, further analysis was performed related to safety. Traffic signals are known to increase crashes due to rear ends and red light running. Signals do not reduce conflict points. The traffic capacity analysis for this location indicated a proposed level of service B. The letter designation is similar to what you're familiar with school. Simply put, A is good, F is bad. The better the grade, the less congested the roadway. This is an aerial display with traffic signal. North is up. State Road 2 runs across the graphic from left to right. The graphic shows potential left and right turn lanes on State Road 2. After a more comprehensive analysis, it was determined this alternative does not fully meet the purpose and need of the project. The second alternative to discuss is the roundabout. This is a current preferred alternative. Roundabouts reduce conflict points by 75% compared to a typical four-way intersections. The geometry induces reduced speeds, helps to calm traffic, and reduces congestion. At this location, the traffic analysis indicated a level of service A, the best possible level of service. This type alternative, though, does have a higher construction cost. It has more environmental impacts due to a larger construction limit footprint. While the cost is an important factor to analyze, so too is the benefit. According to INDOT's website, roundabouts reduce fatalities by much as 90%. Injury crashes are reduced by 76%. And traffic capacity increases by 30 to 50%. The project is a safety project. In that regard, this alternative does meet the purpose and need of the project. We will now step through some of the graphics of the roundabout. There are some graphics physically printed and on display as part of the public hearing. North is straight up on this one. State Road 2 is running from left to right, west to east. This is a faded aerial of the project intersection with a proposed roundabout overlaid with black lines. The roundabout is not centered on the existing center of the intersection. It has been shifted away from the commercial properties on the north side. Right-of-way acquisition will be needed on this project, but no homes or buildings will be acquired. There is a detention basin in the southwest quadrant. A basin is needed to handle the storm runoff from the large hard surface roundabout. The project includes ditches and enclosed storm sewer to effectively drain the area and funnel any rain events to the basin, which will be discharged to the downstream side of the existing 30-inch pipe located approximately 1,800 feet away from the intersection. This is a graphic of the proposed roundabout in color. Again, this is printed and on display for a closer view and after the presentation. The dark gray is the asphalt pavement. The orange represents raised concrete islands that will be colored concrete. The darker pink again represents raised concrete. But this concrete is not as high and allows large semis to drive over it with their wheels through their large turn radius. The center of the roundabout is light green. This area will be mounted and have tall grasses. Visibility is intentionally blocked across the roundabout to induce drivers to turn right. Dark green is the basin. Thin black lines with arrowheads outside of the solid concrete pavement represents proposed ditch center lines. The arrowheads around the roundabout lead to the basin. Residential homes and commercial buildings are in beige. Existing vegetation to remain is in solid circular green symbols. Existing vegetation to be removed is in solid circular red symbols. The west and east legs of the roundabout are longer because they are countering higher speeds from the east and west compared to the speeds on County Road 500 West. You will also notice the curvature in the legs, and also where the legs meet the center. The curves are intentional to help reduce speeds, to control traffic direction, and to appropriately funnel vehicles into the roundabout while still providing lines of sight. Yellow light poles are also in the graphic. Unlike some of the other states, Indiana is very committed to illuminating roundabouts. As previously discussed, right-of-way is proposed to be acquired. The graphic includes property owners, property lines, and existing right-of-way in black. Proposed right-of-way is shown in bold black. There are 10 parcels with proposed right-of-way. 3 of the parcels involve permanent right-of-way, 3 parcels involve both permanent and temporary right-of-way. 4 parcels require reacquisition of the existing right-of-way. Personnel will be available after the presentation to discuss any parcels affected by the preferred alternative. This is a zoom of the center of the roundabout. This graphic shows the turning path of a semi-truck. The blue line work shows the turn movement of the westbound to southbound semi. The red lines show the turning movement northbound to westbound semi. Notice how the blue and red lines cross into the dark pink. Again, the dark pink is a 3-inch raised colored concrete meant to accommodate the wheels for larger turning vehicles. I would also like to clarify on the streetlights. The poles are the black squares outside of the pavement. The yellow lights are cantilevered from the poles and extend out over the pavement. The proposed signs are also shown on the exhibits. All signs except for directional signs near the exit point of the roundabout will be installed outside of the paved shoulders to accommodate the combined turning movements. This is another turn movement image. The depiction is for the farm combine making the same turning movements as the semi. The combine deviates from the main lanes less than the semi and should be able to easily navigate through the roundabout. We also have videos for each of the turn movements to show how the vehicles navigate through a roundabout. The semi will be first, followed by a farm combine. We will now transition to the project schedule and comment period.
Thanks everybody for watching that. Again, like I said, we'll get into the public comment period here in just a second. A couple of notes, I'll just reiterate that after this is over, we're happy, the team that I introduced earlier will be happy to hang around for as long as we need to answer individual questions. We do open public comment. I do ask that we refrain from asking questions. It's meant less to be a Q&A and more just an opportunity to register a comment about the project. And again, we're happy to stay as long as we need to answer any questions on an individual basis after this is over. So we'll go ahead and open the public comment period now. I'll just kind of ask for a hand up, and then when I recognize you, we don't have a microphone. The acoustics are pretty good in here. Just try to speak up. We are recording these so we can transcribe them for purposes of the environmental document. And then again, every comment that's made here tonight will get addressed in some way, incorporated into the environmental document. And then there's some additional ways that you can make comments as well, and can let you know about that. So with that said, is there anybody that would like to make a comment for the official public comment? Everybody's shy? Oh my goodness. Wow. Yes, sir. Can you state your name? Can you state your name for us, please?
Bob Castelli,
And your address, sorry.
0465 Southwest.
Thank you.
What's going to be the alternative for the detour when this is all going on? Where's the traffic going to go?
So the detour is using, it's 39, right? Yeah, the official detour used State Road 39.
Yeah.
The official detour used State Road 39. And 6, yeah, so 39, 6, 421. Yeah. 39, 6, 421. Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
My name is Thomas Schmidt, and my address is 5152 State Road 2.
Great.
And my main concern is for the shutdown for school bus. What is the situation for that, and garbage pickup, so forth. I know it's not really the question, but that's what my statement is, I guess.
Yeah, well, we can talk more. We can chat right now.
Sure.
Sir, yes.
Mark Kirk, 96 South Forester. I'm just hopeful that the lighting will be shielded to prevent a lot of spillover lighting that will be focused on the intersection and not brightly lit to affect all the neighboring residents.
Sure. Yeah, I think we can speak to that afterward as well. But yeah, great comment. Thank you. Okay, anybody else like to make a comment? Right. Yes, sir.
I already talked a little bit, Brian Garwood, Richards, 5911 West 50 South. Our biggest concern is access to that land, hopefully with a temporary driveway bordering Mr. Schmidt's property so we can get our equipment, our labor, our harvest wagons in. We are not a grain farm. We have vegetables down there that we have to fill contracts, and that is our biggest concern. Obviously, it's a dangerous intersection. We don't want to stand in the way of whatever decision is made, but we are, we're not going down there like a grain farmer and planting at one time, and, we're down there with a lot of people, and we just need access. If that means Forester Road down to the close portion of the highway, some way to get through that hard barrier there to cut south onto that farm, just for the 8 or 10 months that it takes.
Every day in the summer.
It's every day. So, and it's every day. I would estimate during the spring, summer, fall, bus loads are down there 4 or 5 times a day, and wagons go in and out of there 20, 30, 40 times a day. So it's a critical thing for our company.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Yeah, that's okay.
And to be able to get semis into our place to load for Walmart, or whoever it is.
And we definitely work. Okay, anybody else like to make a public comment during the formal session? Again, we're hanging around as long as we need to. Yes, sir, in the back.
Eric Bencher, Chief Civil Fire Department. Just so you guys all know, we did speak, kind of offline beforehand. It will not cut off our fire protection from that fire station. We will have some sort of access to and from, so that there's no disruption in service to the residents. Obviously, that's our main concern. I guess I'm going to give you an opinion, not necessarily that of the fire department. It's my own opinion. I'm also the director of Ward County EMS, and having seen the different intersection improvements at the different intersections throughout the county. Obviously, the stoplight at Vale and 20, in my opinion, has not been a huge benefit. Look at the Prairie bus crash we had over the summer. I can tell you with the fair amount of certainty, we have had major reductions in accidents with the roundabouts. The ones on 6 are prime examples. Greatly reduced our call value to those intersections. So I know for some of you, it's loss of land, it's disruption, but from my professional opinion, it is the safest alternative. So,
Thank you. Appreciate that. Good. Anybody else like to make a comment? Yes, sir.
Phil Cametta, 80 North Forester Road. Was an overpass ever looked at as opposed to the roundabout? The only reason why I say that is 2 is extremely busy. And I can see on both sides being quite a bottleneck to get around. And getting from 500 into that might be difficult.
Yeah.
But I imagine cost is where.
That would be, I mean, yeah, probably 6x the cost of roundabout, right, yes.
But that's the only signal I see.
We can chat a little bit about some other alternatives. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? That's the hand talking.
Yeah, I'll say about it, it's spot mile here. I think the roundabouts are great. I think the roundabouts are great, but I'm gonna tell you from your perspective, most of you don't like this, but I'll tell you. 90% of you in this room don't like the 18-wheelers going through these. But I will tell you from the safety standpoint, that's exactly right. They reduce things. Unfortunately, let's not compare Pinola to Carmel, Indiana. Okay, they love roundabouts. You can't do 30 mile an hour and get another. It sucks when you're hauling salt down there for the state. Trust me, I do it. So my perspective is roundabout's great. And you do away with the curves on these things, because in the agriculture community, several guys have explained the one down on 421, they got to get to the inside of that circle with equipment because they can't put their tires and their tools out. Secondly, we passed a law in the state of Indiana, allows 18-wheelers. I don't want to hold you guys up, but you go through the one down there at 6 in Syracuse in the morning. As soon as I get out of that 19-wheeler, guess what happens? I don't care if it's anybody's coming or not, everybody wants to shoot around me on a double yellow line. Every time. Why can't we do what Wisconsin does? 18-wheelers, big trucks have right of ways to keep everybody moving. We're the red blood cells in this community. We're carrying stuff, you guys. These are our artists. Every time somebody races into it, guess what? Gotta slow it down, gotta build back up speed. It's a pain in the butt, all right? I don't, I can't believe this is going in, and I question too, I'm sure the Teamster users are not here, wondering why they bought the hall there and haven't done anything with it. But, I'm kind of wondering why, and how you guys are gonna shape this. Is this gonna be like Busville, where it takes 9 to 10 months to complete? We put a time limit on getting it done. Because Joliet Road is gonna be a racetrack. 400 is gonna hit the mass. Forester, or excuse me, not Forester, Watson and Holmesville are gonna be a mass. You guys are gonna tie it too. You get this done in 3 months, not, 5.5, 10. Yeah, it's fine.
Anybody else like to make a comment? Going once? Oh.
The key comments of people racing past you, we live just past that cutoff. So they're gonna now go full speed after that, and for us to turn our driveways and continue to be secondly injured. So, yeah, I was just hoping for a long shoulder. Because it's really.
Like you out constantly when you're turning left or driving.
But there's no. So it's just after that, they're gonna take off, and they're gonna be mad because we're turning the left on. So that's all, I just hoping for a longer shoulder, or a shoulder longer shoulder. Yeah,
Would they,
yeah.
would they keep the speed limit after a truck or a car? Yeah, so would they keep the speed limit after you leave the roundabout on the highway either way at a reasonable rate, so a car doesn't want to instantly try to pass the semi that's slowed down? If they could keep the speed limit at 40 or something for a mile, so the truck can get up to speed.
We can walk through this. Anybody else like to comment? Going once? Twice? Yes, sir. Sorry, go. One.
5685 West Goliath Road, absolutely building at 693 South 500 West. So we utilize that intersection multiple times a day. I think it's a good idea. Something definitely to be done there as far as safety is concerned. I think that people have a problem with the roundabout for 2 reasons. One, they don't like them. And 2, they prefer a cheaper option, which, I've seen comment online, whether it be stoplight, stop sign, whatever the case may be. Some people have said, take the 2 trees down on the northwest corner that will keep the traffic accidents involved, and that's not true. So I think it's a good idea, but commenting about the speed limit, they don't follow the speed limit as it is. If they did, they wouldn't have the issues that we have there. So I applaud you guys for doing this. Hopefully we can get it done in 2020 days.
Thank you so much. Anybody else? Going once? Twice? Okay. Thank you for being here tonight. As I said, the project team is here for phone. We need to make one exercise conversation with a couple folks, raise some issues during public comments. Feel free to hang around. Again, with myself, Dimitri, Mike, Josh, Dan, as we have. Again, thank you for your time, thank you for being here tonight.